Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to be doing the seated military press, which you've seen me do before on my channel. I usually do it with an axle bar, but today I'm going to be doing it with a barbell, and I'm just going to see how heavy I can go because it's the end of the month. I really have hit all my goals, so why not try to push to see where I'm at on this particular implement, which I'll get into later as I'm working out exactly what the implement is used for and why I'm specifically doing this. As I'm also going to be doing the entire workout, I'm also going to be discussing an event that occurred over Memorial Day weekend. It was called the Enhanced Games, and it was in Las Vegas. And over that weekend, the whole purpose of this event was to showcase individuals who are open about their PED or performance enhanced drugs use, aka anabolic steroids, and was to showcase what their abilities are when they're open about their usage. And I think they were planning for a lot of world records to be smashed, even though it wasn't going to count as official world records across the world. They just kind of wanted to show what the human body was capable of with those who are on PEDs. Now, I don't think it went the way that they were planning it to go, which I'm going to be discussing that as I'm doing the workout. So let's pop into today's workout and let's get started. Now for today's strength giant set, I'm going to be doing the military press. Starting off light, doing a lot of reps. Eventually, I'm going to work my way up to a 1-rep max. And yes, I'm stopping at my chin because the purpose of this is to build the lockout power on the standing overhead press. And I feel like that this exercise is the best way to do it. And going down to your chest mitigates that because that's an unnatural movement from that position. And as I'm going up in weight, I'm also going to be doing the pull-up press. Now, the pull-up press is a really good exercise to do for the obliques, and you have to do them on each side. So I'm doing it on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, targeting those obliques, but also kind of warms up my shoulders a little bit, as do these jump ropes. And that's just good to get your blood pumping, your cardiovascular going, and to get your shoulders warmed up as well as you're going up on heavy weight. That's going to be the strength giant set for the day. Now, over the last weekend, which was Memorial Day weekend of 2026, there was an event, like I just said, called the Enhanced Games. And really the idea was to showboat that these athletes that are on PEDs or PEDs or performance enhanced drugs are able to do some incredible feats of strength and athletic movements while openly being on PEDs. But like I said, I don't think it went as well as they thought it was going to go because number one, when people hear the word PEDs or anabolic steroids in any sport, a lot of viewers get turned off to it simply because people like to see and like to have the true integrity of sports where it is a natural athlete and they're not using any of these substances, at least not openly, because we all know that performance enhanced drugs are circulating amongst professional athletes, even though they claim they're not using them. But I think the idea of doing this event was to showcase that world records are going to be smashed by former athletes that were in the Olympics and other things. The events included swimming, track and field, weightlifting, and then there was a max, 1-rep max for deadlift where straps were allowed to be used, and 2 very popular strongman were going to be the highlight of the show. And whoever won first place, second place, third place, they got monetary prizes. But if you smashed a world record, then you got even more money. So there was a lot of ambition for athletes to show up and to be on these substances and to try to see if they could smash records. And I believe that the promoters thought they were going to see a lot of smash records if they just allowed athletes to claim whatever they want to claim to be on and to be able to compete without any scrutiny of what kind of substance they're on. And then the main event, which a lot of viewers were showing up for, was to watch Hafthor Bjornsson, which is a very popular strongman, break his own world record for the 3rd time, which is going to be 515 kilograms, which is like 1,130 something pounds, which is an incredible feat of strength. And he's already done this twice, but he's showing up now because he wants all that prize money. Now I'm going to let you know one thing. Out of all the events that were done, I believe of all the steroid using athletes that showed up, only one person broke a world record. Just one. I think it was in the 50-meter freestyle swim, which I'm not knocking. That's an incredible feat of strength and athleticism. However, I think they were expecting every single race and every single event to be breaking world records. And I just think they fell flat on their face. All of these openly using PED users coming together and about to smash records, even though it wasn't going to count officially because they'd be openly admitting that they're on steroids. And only 1% out of all of those people and all of those events got one world record. And then to top it all off, Hafthor, who I highly respect. I mean, I absolutely love Hafthor Bjornsson. I follow him in his deadlifting program from my own program. But even he, who was supposed to be the headlining event, and I think they were pretty dang sure that he was going to pull a world record for the third time on the deadlift, he actually failed it, unfortunately, which is very hard to watch because that is one of my heroes. So all in all, I believe that this thing just flopped on its face. And it's kind of funny and amusing because, I mean, basically, can you imagine like throwing a party and inviting very important people who everybody knows to show up, and then your party sucks? That's pretty much what happened at the Enhanced Games. And it's very amusing because they really truly thought that they were going to do something different in the world and try to open up the negative stigma that is surrounding PEDs. But all it kind of showed was you really can't get around it without any hard work and without the natural abilities of these athletes. Well, I really had to reach deep to finish that rep. That could have gone bad, but that's the most I've ever lifted on a seated military press. Yes, I'm only stopping at my chin. And again, it's for lockout purposes, like I explained during this video. It's to make sure that when I do the overhead press and I get that log or that barbell and I jump and it gets past like my chin, then you need that lockout strength between your shoulders and your triceps to lock it out overhead and to finish the rep. And I feel like this really carries over a lot into that. And the good news is I didn't even need to use these, which I couldn't find like the ones that would match my outfit today. So I was going to have to throw these bad boys on, which are wrist wraps. I didn't even need to use that today. So everything's going pretty well. And I think that's a pretty good lift to do without wrist wraps. Now let's continue on with the workout. So after that, I was going to do a volume set, just one set. And I was going to go for a max effort with 225 pounds. Now, the reason being is since I don't really test this very often, I usually do this as a variation lift to my strength overhead press from the ground. This is just a way to hit a max weight and then drop it down and then really finish off those muscles. And this is kind of a conjugate style where you kind of work up to a heavy set and then you drop back for volume and then you just try to tucker your shoulders out or whatever you were working. So this went very well on this day. And since it was the end of the month, I decided just to move on to the accessory giant set, which is going to be 3 rounds. And I was doing some tricep push-ups because I put my hands closer together and that really targets my triceps a lot better. And then the chest is sort of a secondary motion to it. Great way to finish off the triceps. And then I was doing some side delt raises, something that I love to do after every overhead press because I really feel like that it helps the stability in the shoulders. And face pulls, because you know face pulls are always important at the end of every single workout if you want to keep your shoulders from getting impinged. And that was the total workout for the day. Alrighty, so that's going to conclude it for today's workout. Really appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope that y'all learned something new, both lifting wise and also just about the world in general, like the enhanced sports event that I don't think went very well. I really appreciate everybody stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.